私は堂々と言えるわよ。昨日だってユージのことを考えながらこううっとりした口調で明らかに誘うイメージでそんなことを言うな。ユージもなんとか言ったらどうなのよ。
Trust me, I tried. Sorry, but what exactly am I supposed to say here?
下品なこととか言わないようにしなさいとかそういうこと言ってた。で、チルチルは週に何回すんの？
No.
ユージをおかずにしたことある？父とか思い出せる？皆さん集まってミチル様の G の話ですか？
Oh God, I tapped out.
うわー、もうここの建物ごと爆破してやりたい。
Hey, you're the one that admitted it.
ミチル様、爆破にはそれ相応の知識と資材が必要になってくるので、あまり現実的な手段とは言えませんよ。わーってるわよ、そんなこと。例え話を本気にしないでよ。申し訳ありません。ミチル様ならばやりかねないと思いまして。
Try to keep it down, will ya? Will you? Well, since I've come here, I guess my leisure time has been increasingly filled with the sort of bodacious trivial chat. Even in that alone, I think I've gained something from entering this school. By the way, where's Sakaki? Concerning the topic of our conversation, I don't think she'd be sticking around for long, even if she did drop by, but I haven't seen our box cutter girl even once today. And I glanced normal reserved seat next to the pillar at the edge of the lobby doesn't seem to have been disturbed recently. 大きなトートバッグを下げてましたね。かなり早い時間でした。そんなに早い時間に？ええ、私がちょうど起きた時でしたから。Yeah, that's early, any way you look at it. One thing, you're compulsively running from morning runner like me, but most people aren't going to wake up at that hour on a Saturday. Grade schoolers with their radios exercises, or old men doing tachi for their blood pressure, maybe. 何入ってんだろう。なんでしょうね。大量のカッターが入ってるとかでしょうか。相変わらず謎よね、あの子は。というか、前にもこんな話したっけ、ここで。We did, now that you mention it. Hamon's words brings to the conversation to make mind the previous Sakaki incident send off after a round of scary stories in the lobby. That affair shed light on one aspect of Sakaki's true nature, but not a particular large or revealing one, and I haven't gained any further insight since. Sakaki's private life is mysterious as always. As soon as we get back from school, she tends to lock herself up in her room, or on rare occasions she does poke her head outside. She actively evades any real attempt at conversation. Now there's a question, how about Sakaki? What does she do with her free time? I'm not that caught up on actual finding an answer to this question, but I can't deny that the contrast between the shameless openness of this bunch and Sakaki's cloak of secrecy leaves me slightly interested. あれかな。あんたとりあえずそこから離れなさ。何言ってんのさ。小、老、病、死。いずれもそこにあるのは生の喜びなのよ。なんでマキナはこんな子になっちゃったんだろう。Her being with you first. 悲しいものもわかるけど、これが現実だ。受け入れろ。な。私が悪いのかな。もっと肌の露出を減らさなきゃいけないのかな。あの子、教室では本読んでるじゃん。読書じゃないの？趣味。それは違うと思います。え、どうして？榊さんは 本を読んでいる素振りだけで実際は読んでいないことが多々あります。決まった数ページを何度も繰り返したり、そもそもページをめくらなかったり、何日もずっと同じ本を読んでいたこともあります。
You're observant, Sachi. Bizarrely so.
はい、マキちゃんに言われて一時期ずっと観察しておりましたから。
Wait, is she talking about the times we investigated Sakaki? I thought our mission wrapped up after we succeeded in startling the girl, exposing her scaredy cat nature, and generally making her life miserable for her. But apparently Sachi was still on observation duty.
サッチンの調査能力は完璧なのよさ。
I'm sure they are, so try not to waste them on stupid crap, alright? At any rate, it seems the bookworm theory is fairly dubious.
ナイフアクションとか。カッターからの安易な発想よね、それ。だって他にないでしょ。歩いてるか座ってるか本読んでるかカッターで人に切りつけるかしかあの子の姿って見てないんだもん。
When you describe her that consciously, Sakaki does really seem quite the fearsome character, doesn't she?
まあいいじゃない。あの子だって人間なんだから影でエロ画像を集めたりしてるわよきっと。
I think we're talking about leisure time and hobbies here, but somehow the topic of discussion seems to have shifted to Sakaki's sex life. How did that happen
今ま
exactly?
で何もすることなかったらとりあえずエッチに走るんじゃないのかな。
No.
じゃあ何か榊さんに変化がありましたら
No.
皆さんにご報告いたしますね。
Okay, Sachi, that's not necessarily, well, truly not necessary.
はい、わかりました。ではしません。
The last thing we need is the nonsense leading to something troublesome and making things awkward in the dorm. If Sakaki wants to talk, she'll do it on her own time. It's not like I have any pressing need to know about her, so I'm not going to pry when she wants to be left alone.
あ、いっけね。洗濯物洗ったまま干すの忘れてた。
Amin patters off toward her room. Sachi and Makina rise off the couch and follow suit. Before I can get up myself, Michiru sidles up with an inquiring look on her face.
どうしたの？ユミコのことが気になってる？
No, not particularly. I only stuck around because I've been planning to continue my calisthenics, but Michiru ignores my answer to her question, draws her own conclusion, and forges ahead with this one-sided excuse for a conversation.
まあ気になるんだったら早朝にでも入り口で貼っておけばご本人に直接確認できるんじゃない？
I have better things to do with my time.
ついさっき無趣味ぶりをさらけ出したばっかりなのに。
If you want to talk down to me, I suggest you find a less self-indulging hobby first, Michiru.
だからそっから離れろって言ってんでしょ。やるわよ。みちる様、本当に G が趣味だったんですか？みちる様。
Sachi comes out of nowhere.
そういう時期だってあるさ。猿のように老けて次の目標を考えるんだな、みちるくん。
何か口に詰め込んで死なない程度に苦しめられるものとか落ちてないかしら。
Clawing furiously at her blonde head, Michiru strikes a desperate entry to the heavens. In the end, our discussion about Sakaki's private life was diverted into the unusual head-inducing nonsense before we could reach any real conclusions. Not that it was a topic of especially great interest of me in the first place. A few sets of push-ups later, and I've mostly forgotten about the whole thing. Guess I'm a bit early. Probably because yesterday that had been a very light day. I found myself awake earlier than usual. Hold up, I need to check something. Yeah, this would be part 6. Hobbies, huh? As I run through my stretches, I find myself thinking about the conversation we had here yesterday. I guess dull is, in fact, an objective appropriate word for someone who uses all his free time to exercise. From a conventional viewpoint, training your body might well qualify as one of hobby of sorts, but in my case, I'm maintaining a tool I need for my profession. Training is just part of the job for me. So yes, I basically have no hobbies. I think my personality is mostly to blame. Nothing really tends to capture my interest that strongly or for that long. On that point, I may have something in common with Sakaki by all appearances. She keeps everything and everyone at arm's length, mainly because she's decidedly uninterested in learning more. Come to think of it, didn't they say Sakaki? With the sentence halfway out of my mouth, I sensed someone behind me and turned to face them. Sakaki standing by the entrance staring at me in surprise. There's a bulky tote bag lying at her feet. I could tell at a glance that it's stuffed full of vigorous items. I catch a glimpse of thin wooden objects sticking out of the top. For what? At this point, the conversation from yesterday comes to mind again. The others mention Sakaki's habit of leaving the dorm early in the morning by herself, apart from the large bag she always carries on this trip. No one has any clues as to what she's getting up to. Not that I'm particularly interested, but the flow of the conversation seems to call for a little light probing. You're up early yourself, Sakaki. Where are you off to? I tried to phrase the question pretty casually and certainly didn't sound too pushy coming out of my mouth. And honestly, I was just trying to draw her into a little small talk, but Sakaki pulses her lips for a moment before she speaks. The sentence she finally fires off somehow manages to be simultaneously sharp and blunt. What we got here, Sakaki, is a failure to communicate. Ask where are you off to, and you respond what do I do is no one's business. Ask the answer to a slightly different question. You are probably feeling self-conscious about whatever it is you are going off to do, and end up mishearing what I was asking. Sadly, it's not really a habit. I was born this way. Alright, I won't ask you about this again. Sakaki's face fills with genuine confusion. She's clearly surprised by this ready concession to her demand. Yeah, see you later. Sorry to bother you. Sakaki heads for the exit. I turn around and begin my cossack again. But as I'm sitting on the floor and beginning to stretch out my arms, I realize that I haven't heard her leave the building yet. What's up? You need something? Sakaki throws open the door and, appearing irritation, immediately leaves the dorm. What the fuck? What were you watching? You've all got too much time on your hands. Within seconds of Sakaki exiting, the other four emerged from their hiding place around the lobby. Don't tell me you actually went out of your way to wake up early so you could watch her leave. Almin does her best impression of a mischievous child caught with her own hand in the cookie jar. It's kind of unpleasant to watch. Sorry, but I'm not I'm just not that interested. In the first place, if it was something Sakaki would feel comfortable talking about, I'm sure she would have responded differently to my casual question. That blunt refusal to talk probably means she has her reasons for keeping her activities to herself. I'm not so irresponsibly curious as to pester her on a sensitive topic, especially when she's not going to reveal anything anyway.
そこに組み立て式の羽とか変な光る棒とか衣装が入ってて、人知れずユミちゃんはそれに着替えてコスプレとかしているのよさ。
Oh, your grounds for this
普段が目立たない地味無口キャラだから、休日ぐらいはきっと羽を伸ばしたいと思ってるに違いないのよ。だから文字通り羽をどや。
Amen, if you be so kind as to shut her up now.
しんどいしつけだけ母親に押し付ける父親って嫌われるよ。どうしましょうか、風見さん。調査するのでしたら命じていただければすぐにでも。
No, I don't think that's any reason to put your ninja skills to the test today.
つまんない。
If you want to know that badly, Michiru, go tail her yourself one-on-one.
みちる相手だったら初手からいきなり刃物もありえるわよね。血を見ることになりそうですね。みちる様のお体が心配ですが、自ら選んだ道でしたら致し方ありません。覚悟します。やるっつってねえでしょ。勝手に覚悟完了すんじゃないわよ。
大丈夫。命は一つじゃない。チルチルなら3つぐらいに切られてもそれぞれが新ミチルとなって生まれ変われるのよさ。
Nero Michiru. That sort of reminds me of the time in the Bisobal manga where the best friend's soul was split into 3 pieces and became miniature versions of him.
ちょっとマキナ、あんた私をプラナリア扱いか。
Look, I really like to exercise at some point if you don't mind. Yo. Later that same day, shortly after finishing my outdoor training, I happened to be doing some cool down exercise in the dorm lobby just as Sakaki returns. She's holding her bag in the shell cast by her own body, as if consciously trying to hide it from view. Sorry about this morning. First off, an apology for my earlier rudeness seems called for. Sakaki offers a vague non-response, squirming awkwardly where she stands. Alright, I'll see you later. I'll turn away and restart my calisthenics. But Sakaki doesn't move a muscle. Sakaki? I call out to her for the second time. Sakaki flinches in surprise and shoots me a fierce glare. Clearly talking to herself rather than me, she stumps off in the direction of her room. Well, after Sakaki's vanished from view, I'm still staring at her. The girl might not have said much of anything to me just now, but it's obvious that she's strangely tense. Wonder if something's wrong. As I puzzle over the matter, a certain woman of unusual proportions appears out of nowhere.
なんかちょっと話したそうだったね、榊さん。
Amin approaches me with a gnawing smirk on her face. Oh yeah, I didn't get that feeling personally.
それはユージが基本的に鈍感なだけよ。
Rather than sitting on the sofa, Amin drops herself cross-legged onto the ground, drawing her face close to me as I exercise as if trying to give me a whiff of her perfume. She continues.
で、どうなの？榊さんに。
Sorry, exactly what in the conversation just now suggests that
あるからそんな思わせぶりな態度をとってるのかと思ったのよ。あえて踏み込まず、榊さんからやってくるのを待つというか。
I don't know about you, but I don't approach my relationships with other people as if they were a fish I'm trying to catch.
あらやだ、私はしないわよ、そんなこと。やるならもっと直接攻撃の方が性に合ってるわ。
True, full frontal certainly seems more plausible in your case. Sorry I misjudged you.
半分は天然で言ってるんだろうけど、ユージって時々本当に引っ叩きたくなるわね。
Sadly, I was born this way.
にしてもさ、榊さんって本当に何してんだろうね。誰にもほとんど関わらず一人でいるし。
Well, I suppose being alone is the less painful choice sometimes.
はい、では今日はこれで終わります。キリー。
Weekend behind us, we're back in the classroom. As the day's lesson reaches their conclusion, Sachi leads us in a formal bow that marks the end of every school day. The weekdays are nice and simple. Given a set schedule, I can coast peacefully through it without having to worry about how my spending my time or about being insulted over my lack of interest. I should shoulder my bag and leave the classroom. After dropping my stuff off in my room, I find myself heading to the roof of the dormitory for no reason in particular. When I can't think of anything to do with myself, sometimes I'll search out places where I can be alone and look at the sky. I wouldn't say that I prefer solitude, but every once in a while I'm seized with the need to get a break from the clamor of daily life, which has been very noisy indeed lately. As I swung the door slowly open, I realized there's someone already on the roof. The instant I set foot outside, she's staring at me with a slightly suspicious look on her face. Sorry, but we do live in the same building. We're going to run into each other sometimes. So I can come up. Having obtained Sakaki's assent, I stand beside the handrail and gaze up into the sky. It's a vivid shade of blue today. The sun shines powerfully down on us. I feel heat rising off the iron railing in front of me. After a moment, Sakaki turns to me and breaks the silence. Yes? No, I'm awake. Would you prefer me talking about something or ask you a question? I see. In that case, I guess I'll do what I feel like. Sakaki tilts her head back slightly and gazes into the sky for a long moment. Her long hair catches the sea breeze and flutters like a flag. Why do you ask? True, now that you mention it. I lean forward and grip the warm iron railing with both hands as I speak. Every once in a while, I guess, just to look at the sky by myself. It really is every once in a while. Anyway, that's the only reason I come up here. Everyone has times when they want to be alone, right? No, we're talking about me here. The sunlight today really is powerful, very much a midsummer day. The shadow of a kite flying overhead moves slowly across the roof, wings and beak clearly divined against the concrete. As I follow the shadow movement with my eyes, Sakaki blurts out in unexpected words. About what? Sakaki turns her face ever so slightly toward me as she spoke. Yeah, I did ask, remember? You told me you didn't want to talk about it, so I haven't brought it up since then. If you change your mind about that, I assume you would let me know. I'm not looking to stick my nose in other people's business. I turn my head slightly towards Sakaki, meeting her gaze out of the corner of my eye, with the exception of when somebody wants me to. That policy isn't limited to Sakaki. I'm trying not to interfere with any of the other students here more than necessary. I don't dislike any of them. I don't have any reason to go out of my way to avoid them, but all at the same time, I don't have any reason to get close to them. That said, when they're the ones approaching me, there's no need to reject them either. Trying to maintain this subtle balance as my master taught me. Sakaki stares steadily at my face. Her expression lies somewhat between puzzlement and curiosity. I didn't know what she's gotten her interested all of a sudden, but it's clearly different from her usual apathetic gaze. What is it? At my question, Sakaki exhales slightly and closes her eyes. And we saw a smile. Sakaki abruptly walks away from the railing and heads for the stairs. Halfway there, she pushes briefly and looks back in my direction. Right. At my concise response, Sakaki's expression again takes on a shade of bemusement. For some reason, I get that a lot. Honestly, I can't understand why. For a moment, there's a rare smile on Sakaki's face. Yeah. Sakaki opens the iron door and disappears inside the dorm. The kite I've been watching drawing a lacy arc in the sky as if to wave farewell and then floats out of sight. The sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon as the evening approaches. I push myself back from the railing and walk slowly toward the stairs, feeling the sun-warmed concrete underneath my feet. An odd one, huh? I don't know if you're one to talk. Her hypocrisy is kind of charming. It feels like I've been lectured about drinking too much by an alcoholic. For some reason, I feel like I warmed up the Sakaki a bit. Maybe we got more in common than I realized.
L サイズ10個98。まだ買うの？卵って何にでも使えるし、あると安心するっていうか、冷蔵庫開けた時、卵が少ないと不安にならない？ならないし。っていうか、なくなったら買いに行けばいいじゃない。私はそれが嫌なのよ。食べ物はいつだって余ってるぐらいじゃないと落ち着かないの。いいから付き合ってよ。ツンデレ。は？ツンデレと卵に何の関係が？いいから早く。タイムセールが終わっちゃう。
Okay, well, I'm going to end this session here. Need a stretch. Anyway, see you guys later. And I hope you're ready for the next session of this next recording session. This is the Anime Owie, signing off. Bye. Keep watching anime.